My wife said, "Let's make this year about us." I replied, "It's about me now." Then I served divorce papers, froze the accounts, left on January 2nd, and I smiled when us mint her and her lawyer bills. "Hey, Reddit, let's make this year about us," Rebecca said, raising her champagne glass on New Year's Eve. I looked at her across our dining room table, at the woman I'd spent 11 years married to, and felt absolutely nothing. The expensive bottle she'd opened, one I'd bought for a celebration that never came, sparkled in the candlelight she'd arranged. She'd even put on makeup, made an effort. Too little, 7 years too late. "It's about me now," I said, setting down my glass. "I'm done." Her smile froze. "What?" "I'm filing for divorce. Papers are being served Tuesday morning. I'm leaving January 2nd. The glass slipped from her hand, champagne spreading across the white tablecloth like a stain that had always been there, just waiting to show itself. "I'm 36. She's 34. No kids, thank God. We own a house in the suburbs, 2 cars, a vacation property her parents helped us buy. On paper, we looked successful. In reality, I'd been a ghost in my own marriage for years, and I was finally ready to haunt someone else's life instead, preferably my own. The thing about breaking points is that they don't announce themselves with trumpets. They happen quietly, in therapist offices you attend alone, in separate bedrooms that become permanent, in the slow realization that you've become a walking ATM with a pulse. "You can't be serious," Rebecca whispered, staring at the spreading stain. "We can fix this." "We can." "Fix what?" "The fact that you haven't touched me in 3 years? That you told your book club I was boring? That every conversation we have is about your career, your needs, your timeline? That's not fair." "You know what's not fair? I made partner at my firm last year. You went to dinner with your friends to celebrate. I wasn't invited because apparently I wouldn't enjoy it. My own achievement." She stood up, hands shaking. "You're being dramatic. Every marriage has rough patches. This isn't a rough patch, Rebecca. This is the whole damn road." I walked to the kitchen and grabbed my keys. I'd already moved most of my important things to a storage unit. Slowly, carefully, over the past month. While she was at yoga, at her sister's, at wherever she went that wasn't here with me. "Where are you going?" Her voice pitched higher. "Hotel. I'll be back for the rest of my things on the 2nd. It's New Year's Eve." "Yeah. Fresh start." I didn't slam the door. Didn't need to. The quiet click was enough. The Hampton Inn off Highway 52 wasn't glamorous, but the bed was mine alone, and that felt like luxury. I ordered pizza, watched the ball drop on the tiny TV, and slept better than I had in years. January 1st, I woke up to 63 text messages. Most were from Rebecca, a progression of grief stages in digital form. "We need to talk. Please come home. You're throwing away everything. My parents will be so disappointed. How could you do this on a holiday? And finally, you'll regret this." 3 messages were from her mother, Diane, informing me I was ungrateful, selfish, and breaking her daughter's heart. 1 was from Rebecca's sister calling me a coward. 2 were from our couple's therapist, the one Rebecca had convinced me to see 6 months ago, asking if I wanted to schedule an emergency session. I blocked them all except my lawyer's number. Douglas Chin wasn't the cheapest attorney in town, but he was the most thorough. I'd hired him 2 months ago, after the incident that finally cracked my denial. October, our 9th wedding anniversary. I'd made reservations at Meridian, the restaurant where I'd proposed. Spent $200 on flowers. Bought her the watch she'd been eyeing for months. She canceled 4 hours before. A work thing came up. Her boss needed her for a client dinner. I went alone. Ate a steak that cost $60 and tasted like cardboard. The waiter recognized me, asked where my wife was. I lied and said she was sick. When I got home at 10, she wasn't there. I called her cell. Voicemail. I texted. Nothing. She walked in at 1:30 in the morning, laughing at something on her phone, and jumped when she saw me sitting in the dark living room. "Jesus, you scared me. Where were you?" "I told you. Work dinner." "Until 1:30? She rolled her eyes. We went for drinks after. It's called networking. It's called our anniversary. Her face went blank. Then, oh, God, I'm sorry. I completely forgot. Not that she'd chosen work over me. She'd forgotten entirely. I filed for separation the next week. Started documenting everything. Bank statements showing her spending $4,000 at Nordstrom in 1 month, while she complained we couldn't afford a vacation. Text chains with her sister where she called me low energy and practically a roommate. The lease on the apartment she'd started renting for work purposes that she thought I didn't know about. I didn't find evidence of an affair. Honestly, that would have been easier to process. She wasn't cheating. She'd just decided I wasn't worth the effort of faking interest anymore. Douglas had everything ready. The papers, the asset division, the timeline. You're sure about this? He'd asked during our last meeting. No chance of reconciliation? I've been trying to reconcile with someone who left the marriage 7 years ago. I'm just making it official. He nodded. Then let's make sure you're protected. January 2nd arrived cold and bright. I drove back to the house at 9 a.m. with a U-Haul and my brother Devin. Rebecca's car was in the driveway. I'd half hoped she'd be at work, but no such luck. She opened the door before I could use my key. Her eyes were red, face puffy. She'd clearly been crying. Part of me, the part that had loved her once, felt a twist of guilt. The larger part remembered the anniversary she forgot. You actually came, she said. For my things. We need to talk about this. No, we don't. Devin squeezed past her with moving boxes. Excuse me. She grabbed my arm. Please, just give me a chance to fix this. Rebecca, I gave you chances. Couples therapy you suggested but never engaged with. Date nights you canceled. Conversations you walked away from. I'm not the one who needs to fix anything. That's not true. You're always at work, always tired. You never want to. I worked because you said we needed to save more. I was tired because I was carrying this marriage alone. And I never wanted to go out because every time I suggested something, you said you'd already made plans with other people. The process server arrived at 9:30. Perfect timing. Rebecca Martinez? She turned. Yes. You've been served. He handed her the manila envelope and left. She stared at it like a bomb. Divorce papers, I said. In case that wasn't clear. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Her face went white. You froze our accounts? I froze the joint accounts, yes. Per my lawyer's advice. Your personal account is still yours. Mine is mine. How am I supposed to pay bills? The same way I was going to after you drained our savings for that investment opportunity with your friend's pyramid scheme last year. Figure it out. That was a legitimate business. It was essential oils, Rebecca. Devin carried out the first load of boxes. My clothes. My books. The gaming console she'd called childish. The photos from before we were married, when she used to smile at me like I mattered. You can't do this, she said, following me to the bedroom. I already did. My parents don't care about me. They care about appearances. And you know what? I'm done caring about that too. She grabbed the box I was packing. Stop. Just stop and listen to me. I straightened up, looked at her directly. I have listened. For years. I listened when you said you needed space. When you said you were stressed. When you said we'd reconnect soon. I listened when you forgot our anniversary. When you missed my promotion dinner. When you stopped asking about my day. I'm done listening to someone who never heard me in the first place. That's not fair. You know what I realized, Rebecca? Fair doesn't matter. What matters is that I've been unhappy longer than I was happy, and I'm not doing it anymore. She sank onto the bed we hadn't shared in 2 years. Where did we go wrong? You stopped trying, and I stopped matching. By noon, the U-Haul was full. Devin drove it to my new apartment across town, a 1-bedroom with a view of absolutely nothing special, and I'd never been more excited about a living space. Rebecca sat on the front steps as I made my final trip inside. This is really happening, she said. Yeah. What am I supposed to tell people? The truth. That I left. They'll hate you. I'm okay with that. I grabbed the last box, my father's old record collection, and turned to leave. I loved you, she said quietly. I paused. Past tense. She didn't answer. That's what I thought. The apartment was small but mine. I spent the afternoon unpacking, organizing, claiming space that was entirely my own. No compromises. No decorative pillows I hated. No, we'll discuss it later, hanging over decisions. That evening, Douglas called. Her attorney reached out. She wants to negotiate. For what? The vacation property. She claims it's hers since her parents contributed to the down payment. Her parents gave us $10,000. I've paid the mortgage for 6 years. Exactly. We'll handle it. How are you holding up? Honestly, I feel lighter. Good. That's how you should feel. 3 days later, Rebecca's mother called from a number I hadn't blocked. You're making a terrible mistake, Diane said without preamble. Hello to you too. Rebecca is devastated. Do you have any idea what you're putting her through? Do you have any idea what she put me through? Marriage is hard work. I did the work, Diane. For years. She checked out. That's not how she tells it. I'm sure it's not. But I've got bank statements, text messages, and a therapist who'll confirm I showed up to every session while she canceled half of them. I've got documentation. Silence. This is about that anniversary, isn't it? Diane's voice shifted. She made a mistake. One mistake. It wasn't one mistake. It was a pattern. The anniversary was just the moment I stopped lying to myself. You're throwing away a marriage over being treated like an afterthought in my own life. Yeah, I am. I hung up. The divorce proceedings moved faster than I expected. Douglas had been thorough, and despite Rebecca's initial demands, reality set in quickly. The vacation property? Appraised and divided equitably. I bought out her share. The house. We sold it. Neither of us wanted to live there anymore. The retirement accounts? Split according to state law. She tried to claim alimony. Douglas shut that down with her income records. She made nearly as much as I did, and our lifestyle expenses showed she'd been the primary spender. By March, it was over. Legally, at least. I ran into her once, in May, at a coffee shop downtown. She was with someone, a guy in expensive athleisure, talking loudly about his Tesla. She saw me. I saw her see me. I nodded. Kept walking. Wait, she called. I turned. Are you happy? She asked. I thought about my apartment. About the weekends I spent doing whatever I wanted. About the date I had tomorrow with someone who actually responded to my texts. About the absence of dread when I came home. Yeah, I said. I really am. She fiddled with her coffee cup. I should have tried harder. You should have tried it all. Her new guy appeared beside her, possessive hand on her back. Everything okay? Fine, she said quickly. We used to be married. Oh, he sized me up. Dude, rough. She's amazing though. You screwed up. I almost laughed. Almost told him to watch his accounts. Almost warned him about forgotten anniversaries and pyramid schemes. But I didn't. Good luck, I said, and meant it. Some people don't learn. They just find someone new to teach the same lessons to. I got back to my car and sat for a moment, processing, waiting for regret, sadness, something. All I felt was relief. My phone buzzed. The woman I was seeing tomorrow, Natalie, an architect I'd met through a friend, had sent a photo of a hiking trail. Thoughts on this for Sunday? I smiled. Actually smiled. Perfect. I'll pack lunch. You sure? I can grab something. I'm sure. I actually enjoy doing things for people who appreciate it. Is that a dig at your ex? Maybe a little. Fair. See you tomorrow. Excited. Me too. I started the car and drove toward my actual life. The one I'd claimed back when I stopped waiting for permission to want more. Rebecca had been right about one thing on New Year's Eve. This year really was about us. Just not the us she meant. It was about me. Finally, completely, unapologetically about me. And when she called Douglas weeks later, asking if I'd reconsider, asking if maybe we'd moved too fast, I didn't hesitate. Tell her no. Tell her I'm not interested in being someone's backup plan. She said she's in therapy now, working on herself. Good for her. She should have done that when we were married. You're sure? I thought about the last 11 years. The slow erosion of self-worth. The nights spent wondering what I'd done wrong. The mornings waking up next to someone who'd already emotionally moved out. Douglas, I've never been more sure of anything. He chuckled. All right, I'll let her attorney know. When I hung up, I poured myself a drink. Good whiskey, the kind Rebecca used to say was a waste of money, and sat on my balcony watching the sunset. My phone buzzed again. Rebecca's sister, somehow getting through. You broke her. I hope you're happy. I blocked the number, but not before typing one last response. I am. And I didn't break her. I just stopped fixing myself around her cracks. The sunset painted the sky orange and purple. Somewhere, Rebecca was probably crying to her friends about the husband who gave up. Let her. They didn't know about the years I spent trying. The therapy sessions I attended alone. The date nights I planned that never happened. The slow death of being loved in theory, but not in practice. They didn't know, and I didn't need them to. I knew, and that was enough. On the coffee table, my tablet showed my bank account. Healthy. Growing. No mysterious $4,000 charges. No investment opportunities. Just my money, managed by me, for me. Next to it, a calendar. Sunday circled. Hiking with Natalie. Next Friday, poker night with Devin and friends. The weekend after, absolutely nothing planned, and that was beautiful. This is what winning feels like, I realized. Not dramatic. Not revenge. Just peace. Just the quiet satisfaction of choosing yourself when everyone else expected you to keep choosing them. Rebecca had asked what year it would be about. I'd answered honestly, and for the first time in longer than I could remember, I was exactly where I wanted to be. Free, rebuilding, and smiling about it. Let her figure out her own lawyer bills. I had a life to live,